Hello.
Hey.
How is
Hi.
everyone?
I had an accident.
Oh no.
Oh God.
This is why you
Poor
use the
Yoda.
crackle.
I
This
know.
is why
poor
you
Yoda.
use the crackle.
I know. The he took a little tumble, but I found most
He's
of the
too
pieces.
old to tumble. He is
I
too
know.
old to be tumbled.
He's
He's not like
fragile.
it's not like he was in the in those prequel movies where he was
No,
flipping
he's not
around all
flipping
over.
on. Can I tell you how excited I was to see that? I know I was very loud in the movie theater.
Me too.
That happened.
Oh my God. So the second I went to go see that a couple of times in the theater, and the second time I went to see it with a group of friends that hadn't seen it yet, the
Mhm.
film broke right as he
Shit.
was like he was in the air from the
Oh,
first
no.
jump, and the film broke when film could break.
It was too much. It was too much force power.
It's
Yoda
true.
broke
It's
it.
very true.
Yoda broke it. All right. It's Monday again, guys. It
It
happened
is.
again.
It is.
Seems to happen
But
every week.
well, yeah. But this Monday, I am here and not doing stupid work or passed out because I'm sick. So yay!
Yay.
It's always a little bit brighter when you're here, Ebony.
It's the smile. That's what it is. It's the smile.
I know. I'm saying, like I don't think does it exist anymore? Like, do any movie theaters use film anymore?
You know,
Probably like vintage, like crazy
I was
ones.
gonna
that
say the
still play.
arts, the small
Yeah.
like fine arts theaters
yeah,
for sure.
yes, probably. But
Ones who still
even,
play like really old movies and stuff.
but I feel like even all of those have been the old movies have been converted, right? Because they want to be able
for
to still
sure.
watch them, right?
Yeah,
So,
and and even like the new projectors are probably just all digital now too.
probably, which is it's going to be rough when the apocalypse comes. We're not going to be able to watch it. I mean, we're just back to cave drawings.
It's okay. I still have an old VHS player in my basement. We'll be cool.
That's
Perfect.
crazy.
Little Mermaid.
I have a VHS that I have a TV that has a VHS in it, just so that I could watch. Like I have, I have old school. A friend of mine who used to work at a card shop back in like the early '90s, like before anime was a thing in the U.S. He used to rent VHS tapes that he got shipped to him from Japan with recorded Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z video, which, by the way, rip to
yeah.
he just
Yep.
died. Yeah, the creator of Dragon Ball Z. But my favorite part was the Japanese commercials.
I was gonna say that is the best thing from that
So-
era and recording stuff off of TV.
I was gonna say that is why I hung on to my VHS player, was for the stuff I had recorded off of the television. It is epic, the commercials.
But what's even better is when you actually tried to get slick and pause it so you didn't have the commercials, and then you're starting late or you're starting too early and you're getting
Yep.
it is
Now
ridiculous.
you're reminding me of trying to record like songs off of the radio and stuff.
Yeah, same thing.
On cassette.
Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my
and the
God,
DJ was to
we're
talk
old.
over the like the first 60 seconds of the song, and you're like, it's
Yeah.
only 2 minutes.
Yeah. No one wants to hear you. Just play the damn song. All right.
Okay,
We're
we have a
old.
special
We're
guest.
old.
We are old.
That's what I've gathered from this.
Yeah. What, we have a special guest.
Oh
Tonight.
yeah, somebody, I don't know who. Maybe it's
Look, here comes an awesome guest.
it's the Bard of the Red Hand himself.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So
I'll never get tired of just being able to invite friends that I don't get to see as often to be guests,
Right.
who also just happen to be content creators and things like that. But it's like, who haven't I seen in a while? Is like, I want to see their beautiful faces.
So yeah, we have the power of the internet to thank for that.
It's true. And it's the Wheel of Time for bringing us all together, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Now I'm gonna creep on your shelf. That's what. That's
Oh,
hold on. We have to creep. We have to shelf
Why?
creep.
So this
Why?
is the main
Oh,
series
no
shelf.
paper.
Then you've got the collection of like goods I've received from other creators and channels and friends. Yes, I am mostly paperback. That's how I read through the series originally. I do have 3 hardbacks here. I've got the big white book. and I've got the companion in hardback as well as Origins in hardback.
So,
Okay.
man,
I have started in collecting.
I was going to say, once you have all the paperbacks, you have to go and then purchase all the hardbacks.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
I'm not caring if I get them with the dust jackets or not, because the goal is to get them all and then buy the Juniper set.
Right.
Ooh, yeah.
So I don't care if I have because I've got the paperback, so I don't need.
Right. So you've got the artwork. So then after that, you add it to your phone, so you can look up things at any point in time.
It's true.
I've got the Wheel of Time on me at all times, and
I got a big
therapy. So
I got a big searchable PDF so that I can search by keywords. It's fun.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like we all should probably talk to somebody in April at JordanCon.
A little bit. And Vance, you just reminded me that they sent me those covers like a long time ago, and I still haven't put them on it. My books.
Yeah.
I need to do that. That's still the original
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I'm the worst.
no,
So then, what are you going to do with the dust covers? Are you going to frame them all and put them up?
That's a good idea. I could make a little thing.
I haven't seen anyone do that actually.
She's a genius. This is why. This is. I mean,
I love her.
So many good ideas, guys.
Yeah, you bring up every part of the show just by being here. I don't think anyone does. I don't think anyone who would be watching today probably doesn't know who you are, Vance. But I'm going to post your link tree in the chat right now.
Yeah, thank you.
Go check out his Patreon, YouTube's, the Instagrams, all the stuff. Make sure to drop a follow for Vance, the Bard of the Red Hand, and show some love.
A dormant content creator.
I do want to make fun of you a little bit though, because I found this funny. I was scrolling through your videos on YouTube, and I only took one screenshot because I don't want to make fun of you too much, but almost every single one of your videos, you're making very similar faces. You're on the thumbnail.
Yeah, I just reused. I took like one day. I think I changed shirts and took like 50 or so pictures, and then just reused those. I cut them out. That's how because I used to do a thumbnail per video, like would take a picture and get it right. And everything.
Now you just have a repository.
2 hours. And I said I can't do this. I have to do something. So I took 2 hours and made like a whole bunch of little assets that I could then paste on top of stock imagery or Wheel of Time imagery.
And you thought the mouth open look was the way to go.
Hey, that is actually the way to go. Like that is there's been research done on this. That's why so many people do it.
Is it okay?
Maybe
I subconsciously do it because of that. Because like whenever I take a picture, and my wife's always hitting me, like because we're at Disney and we're taking like pictures and stuff like that, and I'm always like, close your mouth.
You're having a good time. You're trying to be expressive as possible.
It's true.
But I mean, just on YouTube, like people are more likely to click on a video with a dumb face than not. So that might be changing.
You don't have a dumb face. You have a pretty face.
I mean, you're making a dumb face.
Okay, that's different. It's different.
All right,
like that's what I mean. Come on.
Why Bard of the Red Hand? Why are you?
I needed something cool, and a lot of cool stuff was already taken. So I just was like, what's something other folks haven't done yet? And no one had done anything with the Band of the Red Hand yet.
Okay.
When I joined, and then about a year after I joined, there was another guy who joined and used the exact same name. And I was like, oh man, I've already got like 50 videos out. We gotta talk about this. I changed it. Eventually, I felt a little bad and uncomfortable about that, but
yeah.
I mean, you had it first,
right?
You should have done the research.
Yeah,
I do hate to on the interwebs.
Well, he was. So I'm a musician. He's a musician. We ended up like, oh, it's the same thing as when you're a band, and then 2 towns over, another band has the same name, and y'all have to meet up and talk about it. Someone has to change, right? It's usually who has more content, like who has more music out. If you haven't know it all, for example, he just started.
A quick search would have told him that maybe he needed to.
Right. That's the you got to with the internet. Like you should be able to find it. If you type the Bard of the Red Hand on Google, it's like all of my stuff.
Right. Exactly. So
I get. He was very nice. He changed it, and
because he was right.
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't wrong. Come on.
Well,
It's an honest mistake. It's not that
he
big a deal.
he was not wrong, but he did not do his research prior. So.
I wish those rules applied for the Dragon Mount stuff, because like Dragon Mount existed before Twitch was a website and before YouTube was a website.
Yep.
And like
Those names are taken.
I know, and no matter like they haven't been active in years, some of them. And like no matter what we do, it's like we can't get them to like give us
you should be able to. They like most companies have like a brand, like a thing for brands to be able to claim their handles. I don't know who you have to talk to or what form you have to fill out, but I know
especially if they haven't been active. I think if it's something that hasn't been active for a certain amount of years, you could plead that case.
That's fair.
I get upset when I try to use my actual name as like a username, and other people have used it, but they're not actually named Ebony.
Yep.
I'm like, I get it's a cool word to use for things, but this is my legal government name. Like when they come for me, they're going to be looking for Ebony. So please let me put this on here.
So what else has happened this week? The Oscars were this week. That was fun. I'm not a huge fan of the Oscars. I like and Crystal and I were just talking about it. I like the SAG Awards more because it's the actors themselves giving each other awards. So it's like, I don't know, it's more fun that way. Like artists giving other artists awards, like they get to vote on. But there was a couple of fun moments. So Robert Downey Jr. won his first Oscar, which is surprising. I love him too. He's fantastic.
I love Tony Stark so much because that's who that is.
He like Favreau was like, no one else can play Tony Stark.
Absolutely not. Yeah, that's because he'd already lived Tony Stark's life without the smart part.
True. Then the other thing that I wanted to mention that I think is in line with what we do here is one of the big things that happened was Godzilla won a Oscar. But like, yes, it's funny because I made this picture. But the thing is that, you know, movies like that don't really win Oscars very often, and it won for CG.
True. That's true.
It won for CG, which is okay. You know, like obviously it's going to be it's going to be a big movie. But I really like that we're starting to see movies like Black Panther and Godzilla and other CG and superhero type things, fantasy type things in the Oscars. Probably because the old, you know,
they're dying.
They're all dying. So like, you know, the people that are going in are people our age. So it's like, oh,
right. We're the new old people.
Stop it!
We're better than the alternative.
Oh, I am older than everybody here, so it's fine.
I was saying it was really, really good. I was surprised. Like I went to watch it expecting like, it's a Godzilla movie. I'm sure it'll be fun. And I was like, this was good. This was legitimately like a good movie. Like I was like entertained the whole time. And it was like not just like a cheesy monster movie. I liked it.
My oldest daughter is a big Godzilla fan. And you would never think it to like look at it, like just interact with her. You'd be also Fast and the Furious. She loves those movies, but she loves them because they're not, they don't take themselves super seriously. Like she's like, at this point, they've got to know they're ridiculous. And she likes that aspect of it. Yeah, but it's so funny because I'm like, you are a PhD candidate for art history and Godzilla and Fast and the Furious. That's what we're watching.
Yeah.
But I will say what she focuses on is Asian art. So that makes sense.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I can't explain the Fast and the Furious. I cannot.
Oh man. If I was smarter, I would have prepped this. That I'll while we're watching, I'll be distracted for a minute and see if I can grab this video. There is a amazing video of this Japanese actress. It was back in the day when they made the old Godzilla movies, when they would be in the costumes. And she was apparently very sought after as a costumed monster actor for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, she's great. Like, I guess, like, you know, how amazing.
When you move in it.
Well, in a big rubber suit. Yeah, I guess it is definitely difficult. Like, and it takes, especially because a lot of the characters, especially the one that's in this video, she's got to be like on all fours, I would suspect, because the monster walks on all fours. But anyway, so obviously they would impose the audio of like the monsters like roaring and stuff over the video. but when she would walk around in the suit, she would roar.
You can hear her little roar.
She's like, rah.
See, she was in character. That's why she was sought after, because she fully bought in. She gave you the whole package.
So great. I'll try to grab the video and I'll play it during the, when we're done with the episodes or whatever. Oh my God. I can't believe that. I forgot about that. That was so funny. Anyway, speaking of what we're going to be watching. So we're watching episode 7 and episode 8 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, book 2, or season 2. The first one is Zuko. No, the first one's the
Zuko
Chase.
alone.
Mhm.
And the second one's Zuko alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
No,
is it the other way
Zuko
around?
alone is first. Is
Zuko
7.
alone is first. Okay.
Yeah.
So Zuko alone is 7 and the Chase is 8. So Vance, we're doing something a little bit different with this series than we've done with other series in the past. So usually this is like a full rewatch. Like we're like everyone has seen the show.
Right.
Since we ended up starting with a season 2 of this show, we decided to do like a recap of season 1, and Crystal actually hadn't seen it.
Okay.
So when we did the recap, she kind of played the part of an audience member, because we had a few people and like a few viewers be like, oh, I've never seen it either. So we were like, well, we'll do a recap show. So, she was asking questions and I had stuff and we got copywritten because I was playing clips.
Sure did.
Yeah, it's true.
They shut us down. They shut us down.
Yeah, it was our first one ever. And then we did a poll on if because people were like, oh, well, I want to see her live reactions to season 2. So we did a poll: should she, prep and watch the full season 2 or do live reactions? And it was overwhelmingly live reactions. So she is live reacting to it as we watch it, and
we're just enjoying it.
Things as it comes up. We can talk about season 1 and the previous episodes, because how many watch throughs are you on it now?
So I've seen season 1 3.5 times now, because I'm also watching it with my 2 kids, and then I rewatched all of season 2 up to where we are. Gonna start today. So when I've seen season 2 up to where we are twice now. And I'm a little bit obsessed.
Is it living up to all the hype me and Tom gave it? Like, it is the best show ever.
It's wonderful, and just the fact that I can watch it with my kids too is absolutely.
I mean, we can
amazing.
See I could see Aang back there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My husband got this for me because he saw how obsessed I was. I'm on the hunt for a Momo, and actually while we were talking the show, I might have ordered something on the internet for my son, because he loves Appa, and I found a little 11-inch Appa plushie. So
that's awesome. My Stitch is hanging out with Appa over there.
Oh my gosh, she would love an Appa that size.
Yes.
It's just a head, though. It's actually a little creepy. It looks like, like a bearskin rug. That's what it looks like, but Appa, because the body is just this flat, blanket, essentially. A little creepy. I promise I didn't kill an air bison.
Well, no, because then Aang would come after you, wouldn't he?
It's right. He would. Though, come to think of it now, all of the animals in the Avatar: Last Airbender world are the weird version of animals. And this brings up the Pokemon conundrum. That means they eat them. Is those animals.
Well, I mean, Aang's a vegetarian, though, right? All the airbenders are vegetarians.
Aang is, but the rest of them aren't.
Well, I mean, Sokka absolutely is not.
Yeah.
Sokka would eat Momo and Appa if he had to.
He tried.
He tried. Yeah. That was a running gag.
Yep. And okay, so I've been posting on the Drag 'em Out Discords as I've been watching the live action shows, and I'm watching them slowly, not just so that I can make the posts and stuff, but also because I keep getting into nonsense. I had a leak yesterday in my house that I had to tear out a ceiling in my garage, which was a ton of fun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I've been enjoying it more the more I watch of it.
Okay.
That's good to hear. I turned it off episode 1 after.
I almost did too.
I was not enjoying their choices for episode 1. Like instantly, I was like, I disagree with this choice.
Listen here, we just went through this with Wheel of Time. Watch the whole thing. And then decide.
Well, but it's different. It's different, and I'll tell you why. It is different. No,
because it's already in the medium. It's already
animation is often seen as lesser than live action, and they make live action to legitimize the stories told in animation. And I do not believe that is necessary with this show, as it is one of the greatest shows of all time.
It absolutely is.
Which is why I am a little bit miffed at the choices they've made. But I will try to do it again when I'm not so in my feels. I have not been dragging the show on social media. My feelings. It's just my feelings. I'm not putting those on everybody else.
I got two issues. One, it has nothing to do with story choice or changes or anything like that. It's specifically Aang. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna hate on the kid. Like, he's a young kid. Or it could be the direction he's getting. He could just be getting that direction.
It gets better though. I think Aang is getting better. Okay. He gets better as you go.
But then I saw an interview with the kid, and like his normal demeanor.
He's very animated.
He is Aang. Just like
he is. Himself. He's very animated and goofy and everything. But I mean, he it's almost like they made him not as Aang-like in the beginning, so people would take him seriously. You know what I mean?
That's a wrong choice.
That's like what said. Yeah,
that's a misunderstanding of the character.
I'm saying, but so here's the thing. I don't think they're trying to appeal to children also with this live action version. I think they're making it strictly for us.
They're trying to appeal to the people who've grown up since the show came out, which I think is not.
But they don't want that. I mean,
choice.
No, I was grown when the show came out, and I still don't want to do it. Like, I watched it with my kids, and I like Aang. I like a little goofy Aang because that helps. But I know that their main audience right now is not the kids; it's adults. So they don't want to just give you a goofy kid that's gonna save it. So
I just saw one of Noman Garden's messages. That is funny. That is funny. That's the kind of thing I would have in my house.
You got to do something with it. That's all I'm saying.
The only other thing is usually when they change story, like you said, I'm the same way, Ebony. Like, I'm willing to wait to see how it plays out. But like usually when they change story for a different medium, it's because like they're trying to save time. The animated episodes were 23 minutes long.
Now, I will say I had this conversation with Brian because I was like, I mean, really, they could just do a shot for shot. Like, nobody but me might want to see it, but it's not like it wasn't already people acting, right? Like, we know how long it'll run. You shouldn't have to cut anything. I don't mind the few things that they've added. I don't mind them adding stuff to give us stuff that happened off, like literally off screen.
Yeah.
But I was like, you could just redo the whole episode exactly as the cartoon was, and it should be fine. Even if you put two of them together, even put two episodes together, it's still only getting you about an hour.
That's funny. That's funny too.
Noman Garden, I think we might need to have a talk. I'm slightly concerned, so I just want to make sure everybody's safe.
I love the personal decor. All right, so as per usual, I have my little timer on the side, so you guys could follow along. It will pop up there. It is. So it'll go away in a second, but it'll be there for while we watch the show. We're not going to skip over anything. We're not going to skip over the opening sequences, the recaps, or anything like that. If you get a commercial, that sucks for you. I'm sorry. Just try to catch up. I sprung for this month, or 2 months or whatever it is to do for this, so that I don't get commercials while we're doing this for you guys. I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's usually how we do this. And we'll chat as we watch. Used to make armor like a blacksmith? How do I not know this about you?
Maybe more like an armorer.
It's because Noman Garden is always throwing out
I thought gnomes were
that we don't know.
I thought gnomes were tinkerers. Weren't you supposed to be an artificer? All right, I'm joking.
Maybe he's only half gnome.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
controversy in the gnome community. All right. Are we ready to start the episode?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I'm going to press play. So you guys should be able to follow along there. Now we know who.
Captions.
Oh yeah, right. Make sure we have our captions on. I have to turn mine back on. I always have captions on as well. So for those who don't know, they're watching along with me on a separate thing. I can't do that because we'll get copywritten again with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can petition Netflix for the watch party feature.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. As long as they use Amazon's technology.
Yeah, whatever Amazon uses, not the mouse, because he doesn't have that on lock.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Whenever we try to
require them to run an AWS, I don't think they want to do that.
Well, whenever we used to watch the watch party stuff on Disney Plus, we always when we were
there was
doing
always
it,
an issue. There was always an issue.
Oh, that's cool. I wasn't there very long because I got the Rona, so next year I'll see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Though, and I do like what they're. I really enjoy the kid that's playing Zuko in the live action. And the guy that's doing Iroh has grown on me. If anyone's seen Kim's Convenience, which is a fantastic show, yeah.
I think maybe because you knew, because I knew him from that too. That was kind of floating around in the back of my head. And I'm like,
he's in The Mandalorian as well.
Yeah. He's that one X-Wing pilot.
Yeah, but I think sometimes when you know them from something else and they're playing a character like a beloved
it makes it
character,
harder.
It's like, no, that's not right. But you gotta pull it.
There's our ostrich horse, by the way.
Which I was getting ready to ask what hybrid that was.
Well, they remind me of what were they called in Final Fantasy? The Chocobos?
Oh, the Chocobos. Chocobos.
Yeah.
That's what's been eating all my time recently is Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy, yeah.
Yeah, Brian used to. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say Brian used to play it, and I'd sit there and watch it like the movie it was. Like most of his games, I just sit and watch him play it because the story's so good with so many of. That's what we do with Fallout. Is that I literally watched the story while he played the game.
The ones from the show actually look legit like Chocobos. Hold on, I'll get a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh shit, I'm sure Square Enix has something to say about these guys.
Yeah,
I thought about that too.
Spider Snake Eyes.
Yeah, they just look straight up like they're even yellow.
They do. Yeah. That is. I hope they asked somebody before they put that out.
Yeah. The only choice that I don't like they made about with Zuko in the live action is he's like, instead of how here he talks about his honor, which we know is really code for my father's approval. In the live action show, he's constantly talking about how he wants his rightful place as heir to the being the next Fire Lord, which is, I don't know. I feel like
that's weird.
It makes him seem selfish, is what it is. It makes him seem a little bit selfish, as opposed to I just want my father to love me.
Yeah,
like I don't care if he loved me or not. I want the throne.
But I mean,
that is not.
Like you don't fully understand all that till later on, though, right? Like you just assume he's selfish to kind of come back from exile. He wants to be out of exile.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, but
I can see where they're coming from with their choice of that, but
I don't know. Maybe it's because I watched it as an adult with my kids. To me, it just did feel like he just wanted his daddy to treat him better, and that Azula was the favorite.
Yeah, that's another thing. I actually kind of like this bit that they've added is that they're having Fire Lord Ozai in the live action show actually, like, where he doesn't really do it outwardly in the animated show. In the live action show, he is directly like pushing them to be in conflict with each other.
He is the type that would want the strongest.
Rosa!
Hiya, Rosa. He is definitely of the Sean Chan mindset that you want your strongest kid to take the throne. I don't care if they kill each other, whichever one's left. That's the one.
Here's a chance where Zuko gets to see like a happy little family.
But he doesn't know those exist.
No. Also, seeing the after effects of the Fire Nation's impact on an area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always good to get out in the world and see what people are saying about you when all you've ever heard is what your people have been saying about you. That's why people should travel if they can afford it. But you should travel.
Yeah, they do a flashback for Zuko's scar and all that in the live action as well.
The scar makeup in the live action could have been heavier. I feel like it could have been more devastating.
It doesn't look so much like a burn scar, like burn scars.
Right.
It looks more like a birthmark, to be honest.
Yes, it does. It looks like rosacea is what it looks like, as opposed to that he was burned.
Yeah, because usually the skin is like textured, and it's really not. This is one of the first times we get to see this person too, Crystal.
Yes.
Yay!
Yep.
I love the duck turtles. I love the duck turtles.
They're so cute.
They are adorable.
His mom.
That's right. See?
He deserved it. He deserved it.
But he did. And that is what a mama will do. And she'll cuss at you at the end when she walks away.
They like turtles in this show because they combine turtles with several animals.
Yes,
there's turtle seals, turtle sea lions, turtle ducks.
It's probably because turtles live so long.
Well, and turtles are like a sacred beast in East Asian folklore.
Yeah, that's why the lion turtle is like the god essentially of. That's actually a piece of real folklore too. The lion turtle. Yeah. But in Avatar later, we've seen them before, but we see them more in season 3.
Feels like something Avi would say. Can you make so and so play with us?
Yeah. Avi would just assume that they should want to anyway, though, right?
No, Avi will make demands of her siblings. I think I have a.
Yeah, there was the cow one, but there was a cow and something else, a cow pig and a something else pig. I forgot what it was. I wonder what a cow pig would taste like. I'm the worst. I'm like Sokka.
Hot dog.
That's terrible.
Hot dogs. It would taste like hot dogs.
Oh, that's messed up.
But accurate.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Especially his sister. He does not know how right he is.
Ah, a rooster pig. I don't remember the rooster pig. For readers of Stormlight Archive, we'll understand when we find out our loving father figure, older male loving father figure character, we suddenly hear that they're a war criminal. Hashtag Dalinar.
Yep.
Made in Earth Nation instead of made in China.
A doll.
I was gonna say that.
We don't know much about Zuko's mom, and we don't really learn too much. Spoiler alert, Crystal, in the show.
Okay.
They do explore it a bit more in the comic books and the graphic novels, which are very good.
Okay.
I'm guessing they're probably going to do that also in
Yeah.
The new stuff where they're older.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I'm sure. I'm excited for that too.
Yeah. Just like a little kid.
Yes.
Yep.
Playing with something dangerous, a little boy specifically. That's
Mhm.
a little boy specific.
Love that part.
He's also that's a sneaky little kid. He stole Zuko's swords without him noticing. And Evan, you know who and Crystal, I'm Vance. I think you know who does the. Do you know who does Zuko's voice?
I know.
Do you remember the old school the Robin Williams?
Oh yeah, the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
He was
Dante something. Dante.
I don't know. I know him when I see him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was another. They took away Zuko's lisp in the live action show too. He doesn't have a lisp.
Huh.
That's an actor quirk more than a character feature.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Sheep, pig, cow, pig. Yep, there's the sheep and cow pig. These ones look more like horses. The ones from the live action just straight up are chocobos. Like they're not even trying to, like they don't look similar at all.
Yeah.
Their heads are completely a different shape.
Yeah, that is
Like the ones in the animated series here, their heads are horse shaped with a beak.
Mm-hmm.
They have a horse tail too.
Maybe that was easier to do in drawings than in. I don't know.
And here's more, Zuko learning the impact of the Fire Nation. Like they moved in, they took out like the Earth, the Earth Nation's like political structure and governmental structure, and left this vacuum for bandits and stuff to move in, and no law, no order. So they're not. Are they really making things better? Yay, it's Rapunzel. Zukio. I like it. Though I think the best nickname for him is definitely Zuzu.
Oh, wow.
Aww.
He gave him the dagger.
Wait, that one has horns. Like that looked like a pig moose.
It's a reindeer.
Yeah. Or a reindeer.
I like what the closed captions say, ostrich horse grunts.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, having the captions on is the way to go. It makes it twice as funny.
And they really dialed up the in the live action series, they really dialed up Azula's like psychoticness.
Yeah, she's evil.
Yeah. She like medication and therapy is what that young lady needs. Because why are you just like this for no reason? Like what happened?
Oh, there's a reason, and it's Fire Lord Ozai. It's Fire Lord Ozai.
But still.
It's daddy issues.
Wow.
We both have them. And apparently mother issues too, because she's not the greatest mom to her.
I mean, this was very much, you could tell who was the favorite of which parent. They didn't do a good job of hiding that. Or being like me, where there's things I like about them and there's stuff I do not like about all of them. Like,
well, she's like literally the spitting image of Ozai.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know anything about that. Children looking like.
Oh yeah, right. All of your kids look like Brian. That was still one of the most impactful quotes that Zuko says that really just tells into his psyche was in the end of season 1 when he says, "My father says Azula was born lucky," and he says, "I was lucky to be born."
Yeah. which is rough because normally when there is an inheritance of a throne, you want it to be the son, so that's got to hurt twice as much. I mean, I'm glad there was their equal opportunity. Just whoever's the craziest gets it.
Yeah. Most bloodthirsty one gets it.
Poor little kid Zuko.
Yeah. Go perform for your grandfather. Do that dance that you know.
That's I haven't practiced at all. I have not. I didn't know we were doing this today. I didn't stretch.
I could tell him all the different names I named the duck turtles. That's what Zuko's thinking. So this should be interesting. So at this point, Iroh's only child is dead. So like now he doesn't have it.
He would have no heir. Yeah.
Right. And he's the oldest.
Yeah. So Ozai is making a little bit of a bid.
Which is right here. And I know Iroh would have never done that if the table.
Of course not.
No.
Not at all.
I mean, like, if it was normal succession rules, wouldn't then the oldest son of, like, he would take it over, or at least the oldest child?
Anyway, yeah.
Well, it's like, so that's like the Western thought, but
I guess.
I mean, in like, specifically, I know about Korea. Like in Korean crown prince selection, they would actually pick from the most capable of the king's sons if he had multiple, right? So it wouldn't necessarily be his first legitimate son with the queen. It could be a more capable son from a concubine. Now,
you know what? I think I knew
Interesting.
That would cause problems, right? Like there are issues. So you have to secure that son's lineage. But there's an official appointment process. You can skip over a firstborn if you deem them incapable.
That's at least better. It gives the people a choice-ish, but like...
Well, not the people. The king, the court.
Oh, the court. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, but you do always hear stories. And like even in like ancient Egypt where the concubine would have a son and like try to groom them for the throne because that so that their kid could be the heir, right?
They drafted him.
No.
Yeah, the little boy.
That was the most anime cut right there when they showed Zuko's with the hair blowing across his eyes.
Yes, that is standard.
How I was like, oh god! I mean, I know these people exist because, like, you know, horrible things happen. But like, how could you tie some little kid to a pole like that? Like, what kind of person can do that?
Here's the thing: a little kid with those teeth, like that is the most adorable. You know, when the kid's teeth are messed up, you're like, this is a baby.
Yeah.
Like, why would you even?
I don't like bullies either. And like,
get them.
Here's the, like, you know, like, this is the lesson that they're teaching, like, kids too. Like, these are the bad guys, even though they're the Earth Nation, and the Earth Nation is better than the Fire. Here's Zuko, a firebender, the Prince of the Fire Nation, like, but they're the bullies. They're the bad guys. They're doing the bad.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to show that your affiliation doesn't automatically make you good or bad. It's
exactly.
The choices you make.
Ouch.
That is one of the greatest things that I love about this show.
Yes, it's good because so many kids do grow up thinking that they're better for whatever reason over things they had no control over. Yep. You know what I mean? Based on things that they were just happened to be born.
Right.
Oh.
Which is a thing that Aang and them talk about here too, about how, like, you know, not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. It's just, you know, the Fire Lord and maybe, you know, their generals and stuff, but like not even all the soldiers are evil.
No. I mean, Iroh is a great example of that. Because
they pepper in the comedy really, really well.
Yeah.
They really do, and I do feel like that still is missing a little bit from the live action. They're not doing that, but again, they're assuming there's not kids watching that need like that breakup of serious stuff.
I do.
I do too.
I don't like being depressed in my entertainment.
Yeah, that is why I am so hilarious. Because I need comedy.
The reason stuff, I mean, and this is, but Marvel has ruined like interspersing comedic moments within serious stuff. We've just had so many years of so many movies and shows doing that. People are kind of tired of it. But when Avatar was doing this, like over 20 years ago, this was novel. This was novel, right? Like that's why the Marvel movies copied the formula. I mean, which they kind of copied it from like Joss Whedon's stuff anyway, right?
Yes. But I feel like you should want your life to be peppered with comedic moments.
Right.
And maybe that's just because I've had no choice with the husband I picked and the children we produced. Maybe that's why I feel that way. Like,
it's true.
No, all media I consume must be dour. It has to be down. I can't feel happy after I watch it anymore.
I can do that to myself. Like I've got anxiety brain, so I can that handled. I need the funny.
Right.
This fight is also awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Son of Ursa. Very different than the way he's described himself before.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's been thinking back.
Well, it's just showing that he's
changed. He's arcing.
He's expanding. Yeah, the arc is going. He's expanding as a character. He's adapting more personality traits from his mom, and like he's being a little bit different than he has been.
Well, I think that was always the problem, is he was more like his mom. And that was always the issue. And he tried to push that part down.
Yeah. And now his uncle's kindling that flame, if you would. Yeah,
I do want to kick Azula.
This part's messed up.
Did y'all notice that Azula has stolen his knife from his room?
Because
she's playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So their grandfather is dead and their mom has disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Which I will say, watch it like the first time through, even as an adult, I was like, oh no, what has happened?
Yeah.
I was stressed out. I don't know that my kids were, but I was definitely stressed out.
Now past. Yeah, the never showing like the villain here, it builds it up a lot for sure.
Yes.
It makes him bigger than life a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it makes him scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
look at her face. I'm saying.
If she showed up at my kid's school, I would transfer them. I'd be like, absolutely not. I know this look. We're not gonna have this child bullying my child.
Nope.
That's what's gonna happen.
All right.
Wait, what'd you think, Crystal?
Wow. I feel like book 2, has been more intense than book 1. There's lighthearted moments, but it's not as lighthearted. Like I feel like we're getting into like the meat of the
things
story.
Are getting serious. Things are getting serious in the world. Because remember, there's only 3 books.
They're diving more into like the backstories of the characters.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. But there are only 3 books because there were only 3 elements that Aang still needed to learn, because he had airbending.
And that's something that we talk about. I think we've mentioned it a few times, but that's one of the greatest things that Aang has going for him, is that no one has been able to train for that.
Right, against an airbender. Right. So they don't know what he can and can't do, or how to counter anything he can or can't do.
Right. Well, the flip side of that, though, is Aang didn't really get to train against the other elements at the time.
A little bit,
Right.
yeah. I mean, they show him going.
Very minor.
Friends.
Very minor exposure.
Yeah.
But he didn't get that in-depth training he would have got when he went to go train everywhere.
No, I can imagine that. Yeah, him and Boomy probably got into it. You know what I mean?
Kuzan, his friend from the Fire Nation.
Yes, they probably had their little things, but it was nothing like.
Did they ever bring up a friend from the Water Tribes in the show? I don't think so.
Not that I remember being mentioned, which is odd, but maybe they do later, and we just don't remember it. Or maybe they felt like the Water Tribe, like he was already so closely associated with it.
Yeah,
it wasn't necessary, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because even if he didn't have a friend in the Water Tribe, now he's being exposed to the Water Tribe.
So how has Toph been growing on you, Crystal?
Oh, she's great. I love her.
She's so great.
Like I've said, Aang is not my favorite on the show. He's still just like a little bit obnoxious to me.
Well, he's a kid.
Yeah, and that's why I work with children. I don't love children.
Well, so he's still a little kid that though he has this major responsibility, there's no urgency behind it quite yet.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's not running on a timeline really. He's like, I'll get to it. Like, let's do this other stuff. I'll get to that part. Where every other kid you meet in the series has been affected by the war that's been going on for 100 years.
Yep.
So
you gotta be a little crazy to still be as lighthearted as Toph is, and she's a little crazy.
She is, but I can understand the frustration that she had growing up, especially when she knew how capable she was, but because she was a girl with what some would call a disability, but not really, because she can use her toes to see what's happening. But I will say, as a parent, when you do have a kid with some type of anything that makes them different, you never know how to handle it. You never know when you're coddling too much. You don't know when you're pushing too hard. And sometimes you do go to the extreme, right? Either you don't help them at all or you help them too much. It's hard to find that in between.
She's also like, she grew up in an interesting dynamic of like being coddled by her rich family, but then also like this secret life that she had as a professional wrestler, essentially.
Yes.
She doesn't know how to have this dynamic of like friendship and sharing responsibility and like things. Like she's like, well, I'm doing everything that I need to do. Why do I?
Right. Like I took care of myself, so. Yeah.
Sokka's getting better in the live action too. As like by episode 2 and 3, like he starts to like be more like Sokka.
Well, I was gonna say that's where the only comedy is really coming from.
Yeah,
is Sokka, right? There's no.
I mean, she did it for at least a little while. She was the champion, and she was very known. Everyone knew her.
Yes,
like,
everybody knew. Yeah. I'm gonna say at 10, she was probably out there with the foolishness.
Yeah, and before that, she was exploring tunnels with vicious badger moles and befriending them. Right.
Can I just tell you, I really like the badger moles, and I don't know why.
I love how they do that with Toph too. They never make her look anywhere. She never really uses her eyes when she's just.
There we go.
Her little nicknames are the greatest.
She's totally the mom, though.
Yep.
Worst thing to say. See, Aang doesn't know. Aang doesn't know not to say that because he's been an iceberg for 100 years. He didn't learn how to deal with women. Calm down is the worst thing.
Yeah. Let me pour a little gasoline on this fire.
So petty. So see, Qatar is trying to be petty without understanding who she's being petty against.
I think that the chewing on the piece of wheat like she was before with that top was just like, is that the signal for like this character is going to be a rebel and not live by the rules?
Well, yes, that is. She's far too chill about everything. Number one.
Yeah. Her and Jet.
Yes, her and Jet.
Poor Appa.
I know.
He's so tired.
Just lugging around these 4 people.
And I feel like there's no way he's eaten enough to sustain the flight. Look at him, see? And carrying them on his back. Like,
how much food does a freaking air bison need to eat?
This is what I'm saying. Like, what do you need?
That's funny. The 2 of them trying to hatch plans to patch things up between the 2 of them later is pretty fun.
Just some angry freak with a ponytail.
That's your fun and perky. That is how my cat behaves every night when I go to bed.
Same.
I mean, that is also how very young children behave when you're trying to put them down for sleep.
Yep.
There's no reasoning with any of those creatures.
Those creatures.
Maybe
poor.
Maybe they're friendly.
They might, because that looks like it's something friendly
like that.
Yes, that's fine. Something that looks like it's made to ram doors down.
Yeah. Giant imposing metal tank.
Alligator. What are those?
Alligator lizards?
Cat lizards.
It just said lizards.
Lizard cats.
I don't know. You gotta see some more of them.
Poor son.
Oh.
Picking on his.
Ice cold. Well, I love Toph.
Valid though.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's that about her.
I love the physical impossibilities that they make lightning do in this show, though.
Well, you got. So it's not supposed to come out of your hands like that either. So
yeah.
Well, how about the stuff that they do with Earth? Like they pull up these rocks out of the ground,
right?
And like it doesn't leave cavities in the ground that then collapse later and stuff like that. You know?
Again, you can't pull it up with just your hands. You guys are gonna have to accept.
Well, it's just more like the moving goalpost of what Earth can and can't block is more what I'm commenting on there. There's a lot of things it can block, and then sometimes when they need it, it doesn't block it. It's like, okay.
Well, it was probably more sand in between in the Earth than like clay.
It's sandstone.
He's losing
we'll go with that. It's sandstone. We'll go.
That's what it was.
There you go.
Appa can't keep flying. Appa needs to fill up. He can't.
There he is.
Tracking them.
It's funny because tracks.
Mm.
I feel like. Did you see her fingernails? Does it look like she chews her fingernails?
I'm sure she does.
Oh no.
It's an interesting artistic choice. Like her fingernails look like blunted and.
I was just gonna say, I feel like they must be cold up there. Like they never seem to be cold flying on Appa, but I feel like they should be. They should be chilly.
They should be freezing. Yeah.
Right.
Unless
Also-
Aang is using airbending the whole time to change the
He
temperature
could be.
of them.
He
Yeah.
could be.
Aw.
Or baby Appa.
Also, they never get sunburned.
Yep.
I mean, there seems to be a little bit of melanin in there.
Yeah, well, in Katara and Sokka maybe, but not. Look at Toph.
Yeah.
No, Toph does not
Pale.
have. Yeah, she is pale.
Aang's
Aang
fairly
even is a
pale.
little like olive skinned, but like
Yeah, I
Toph-
was gonna say he looks like maybe he came from not Sicily. Maybe one parent was from Sicily.
Maybe one parent.
Poor Sokka. He's like, I cannot.
that would be a good fight.
Just let him fight it out.
Shitty.
That's true. They all could be sleeping on Appa. Appa's carrying you.
Yes. Mm.
I guess they all get a little irritable
Right,
when they
right.
don't sleep.
I mean, I do.
Me too. Me too.
Well, once they figure out it's from the shedding, Aang should have just used airbending to make
Give 'em a
her
blow all of the
a
hair.
false trail. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why they need an adult with them. It's just
Finally.
fine.
Oh, good.
Momo's helping.
Yeah, he's definitely a good help. He's smart.
It took a minute. I mean, I will say though, it was the blind girl that figured out they were leaving the trail with fur.
Yeesh.
True.
That's rough. Sorry, Fungal. Should bathe them. I bathe my cats.
Yep.
Anytime we have bathed our girl cat, it sounds like we are drowning a toddler.
Oh.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Oh, that probably smells great.
I'm sure it does. Ha! Bundles.
Clumps.
Oh my god,
She's just so
I
happy all the
I
time.
love Kylie so much.
she's great.
She's just which is funny because it's the one like it's the side of Azula you never really see unless she is doing something crazy.
That's
But then, right, but then
Yeah.
her other friend is like the more logical one. She's not necessarily me. It's like they if we could put them together, we'd have a normal person.
they kind of look like salamander, like alligators or salamander, and then another type of
Right.
reptile.
Lizard, yeah.
But I didn't think about that, Ebony, until you just said that. Like, Mai and Ty Lee are kind of like Azula's personality split in
Mhm.
two,
Yeah.
but also not toxic.
Right. Because even she's not mean. She's just emo. Like if anything, like she has no reaction at all. She's apathetic. Like
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
I'm not gonna react at all.
Yeah.
They look so sleepy. Like I do like the bags under their eyes
Yeah.
because he's got to be so tired.
And then also just the way he's holding his face and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Alligecko, that's good.
Alligecko.
Usually they shout, "Oh no, they're on Alligeckos" or something, you know.
Yeah.
Not good.
Can alley geckos swim? Are they mud skippers?
Oh no.
Are they going to do that thing where they run across the water? I forgot. There's a lizard that does that. I can't remember what it is.
Yep. Here it goes.
Just like that. Yeah, just like that.
And
ooh, Kylie is gangster, man. Like,
yep.
She's so pleasant about it. Like she's just doing it because Azula was like, "Go do that." Like,
yeah.
let's get them.
But, you know, like she's got the pressure points down. Like,
the noodle.
Oh, his head's so hard.
It's the one thing he's got going for him.
Yep, really hard head.
Classic anime the villain exposition right there. I thought this would be a better fight.
Oh.
What her priorities?
Kind of cute.
Her priorities.
Oh man. Yeah, they definitely look like geckos for sure. I could see that. I definitely could see that. Oh, he doesn't know yet. I must find the avatar to restore my own.
Look at those nails. That's terrifying.
I know, right? So, like, if I remember correctly, he holds his own pretty good here. But, like, he's also hasn't slept in, like, 2 days. So I wonder, like, how this fight would have went had he slept. I love the two of them together, too. This is one of my favorite scenes in the show. Yeah.
Because he's a gentleman, that's why.
Mm-hmm. And there's why she keeps.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my other life, I am a sped teacher, and you do see that. Like, kids with exceptionalities, some of them very much are on the defensive because once they become aware, of the things that make them different, they do tend to kind of take it personally.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's hard. You never know why people are treating you the way they're treating you. Like, are they just being nice, or is it because they feel sorry for you, right?
Yep.
And that's what nobody wants.
Right.
I will say nobody. Most people don't want help because somebody feels sorry for them. If they want help because you want to help them. That's because you feel obligated to.
And Iroh is just following Zuko, waiting for him to
just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because that's what a real parent does.
Yeah, right? I mean, like, is it also like a little, like, I don't want to say it's unhealthy, but it's also like, I mean, like, because because he doesn't have anything else. Like, he's attached to
yes, he has attached it. So yes, it's not great for Iroh, but I will say, as a parent type figure, you always want to be there to catch them if they fall.
Yeah. But Toph just called him out on his stuff, though.
Yeah.
She said, maybe you should tell him you need him just as much as
yeah. Because Toph sees many things.
Oh, yeah. She sees deeper than anyone thinks.
Zuzu.
Hey, they could both be Zuzu, technically.
That's true. They are Zuzu.
Yeah.
That would be their band name if they made a band. He has to pick a side. There's so much going on here. There's so many layers. It's like an onion. So do you think they just gave her blue fire so that you could tell like whose fire is whose when they're fighting?
And because blue fire was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, that probably helped. But it also lets you know that she is that she's different, right?
That she's a badass.
She's always been more advanced.
That she's a
stronger.
badass.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So they would have to do something. But they definitely gave her a different color because you very specifically need to know.
I think it's the rule of cool.
True. I wonder if they're following the G.I. Joe rules where the G.I. Joes had the red lasers and the Cobra had the blue laser.
Right.
Because the guys were like the guys that made this are about our age. So like they, that's the shit that they grew up with.
Whoa.
It's funny because science. I will say that the fighting in the live action show is also pretty good. Though I still think the fighting in this is better. And damn Azula.
Yeah, crazy. I do want to say that Zuzu looks better with his hair short, and I never liked the top knot on him. It did not work.
He's kind of like a little bit, like email a little bit. It is an interesting setup that they have going on there. Yeah, almost. They're not green, but yeah. Wait a minute, Noman Garden, do you mean that Are You Afraid of the Dark was lying to me all those years when they would throw the salt in the fire? Ooh, he's a little emotional. Such a good image of like the current Fire Nation's ideology. Like, oh, this is what they leave behind, a burning town.
Yep.
And hurt people, even people that they love.
No.
Yes, Crystal, you will have to wait. You will have to wait.
I don't accept. I do not accept. We're going to change it up. We're going to watch episode 9 right now. We're going to right now. Unplanned. Calling an audible.
Well, I cannot hang for episode 9. Y'all got me for about 20 more minutes.
Oh my god.
Either, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
this is why we like first viewer and first reader reactions.
Yeah. Does Iroh live? We'll find out next week on another installment of Avatar. Same Avatar time, same Avatar place.
Wow.
Yep.
There, and I know I said it when we started watching this, but now you're really starting to see Zuko's arc. I think Zuko's story in this show is the best story in the show.
Yep.
He's definitely got the best redemption arc in any medium that I've ever seen.
He does. And Tom, was it you that was saying he was a character they weren't even going to add? Like they just added him at the last minute?
He was a late thought, yeah. He was originally not even in the story at all. They had the entire show written, and but the Fire Lord was in a similar position as he is now, where he's not really present as a antagonist. So they decided they needed a more present antagonist, someone that was like actively chasing the Avatar and like, having the Fire Lord of the nation doing that was unrealistic. So they came up with Zuko's character and wow.
They needed somebody that was very invested too, also, because it's not just he's him finding the Avatar means more with this setup than it would be for the Fire Lord trying to find him, right? Yeah. So it makes it heavier.
And something that I usually do when I really love the writing of show writers or authors, obviously, but like, when I particularly really love the story of a show is I look up what other stuff they've done, and they did the Dragon Prince too, which is another. I think it's.
You know what? I still need to watch that.
It's good. It's very good.
And everybody's been saying it's good, and I was like, at least there's a dragon in this one. I think
a lot of dragons.
I'm like Wheel of Time that I've been waiting for this dragon.
I will say there's a caveat. The first episode has a fair amount of exposition. But once you get through it, it gets much better. But I did almost turn the first episode of Dragon Prince off because it is like 15 minutes of exposition. It's a lot.
You seem to forget. I've read the Wheel of Time series multiple times.
But I mean,
I can handle some exposition.
I don't think Jordan relies on exposition that much.
No, but not that much. He should have been a seamstress.
Yeah, he describes every dress. Like, forget about it.
Nobody's business.
Very into fashion.
Okay, I did. I made a promise. Let's make sure. Let's see if it works. I think I got it. Here we go. Hold on.
Okay, let's see.
That's adorable.
So great. Now I need you to send me the link so I can send it to my daughter. That's adorable.
It's so great. It's my favorite thing that's ever happened.
She's like, what's it called when they completely go into character? What type of acting is that?
Character acting. No.
A
method? Is that method?
Method acting.
Method acting.
Yes. She's a method actor. She is.
I'll post the link to the YouTube in the chat, and I'll send it to you too.
Yeah. No, that is cute. It's so cute.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's so great. That's it was we had to soften the blow because because Crystal doesn't know what's up with Iroh.
Yeah, you'll be stressed all week if you're anything like me. You'll be.
When will I have resolution? I need to know when I know. Don't tell me what I know. Is
Next
it
week.
soon?
Next week you'll know.
Okay.
Next week you'll know. You don't have to wait that long. I mean, like that's and again, that's just the good thing about Avatar. They don't depend on like I don't want to say cheesy, but they don't depend on like those types of hooks that like are just like we're gonna take this beloved character and make it so that you don't know what happens so that you keep watching our show.
Right. They didn't have to.
They don't need to.
They could have told us at the end of this what happened to Uncle Iroh, and we'd still be like, next episode.
Next episode, please. Let's go. I really do prefer watching these like slowly like this because it's so much more. I don't know. It's more impactful for me. I like it. I like it a lot. Dun dun dun. At least it's not like and not to make fun of Dragon Ball, but like Dragon Ball was the worst with, especially when they brought him over to
the States.
Yeah, the States.
Yeah.
The names of the episodes were the worst. It would be like, what's going to happen next week on Dragon Ball when we find out if Goku's alive on the episode Goku lives, and it's like, like every week.
I need y'all to know that. When Dragon Ball Z first started, Brian would watch it on Adult Swim, I think. And the only reason I started watching it is because they were kids. And I was like, what is happening with these babies? Who is...
Okay, yeah.
Like, I got emotionally attached almost instantly to the children in the story. I was like, I gotta watch this. Yeah. And this is the problem that I have is my emotional attachment to fictional characters.
Akira Toriyama made some great characters, but not very many good portrayals of parents.
No. Yeah. And I was also fascinated
the
by
word dad in animation.
Right.
Maybe all right. Fire Lord Ozai. Fire Lord Ozai was pretty bad, but like as a protagonist character, he's the worst. He's the worst.
Piccolo was a great step in daddy.
Yeah, he was. That's literally the role that he played. At least they leaned into that in later series and stuff.
Right. But I was also fascinated by the names. Like in Dragon Ball Z, I'm like, do y'all know these are foods? And now, do y'all know that?
Oh yeah.
To me, but it was so funny to me. But it was hilarious to me.
Radish. I mean, one character's name is literally just Garlic. They don't even try to hide it.
Yeah, they're like, we have forgot. We don't have any more ways to say this word. Like it's going to be Garlic. we can't think of a good way to make it a name.
It's true. Well, rip to Akira Toriyama because that was a great show, and he was way too young. He was only like 68.
68.
68. Dragon Ball, Dr. Slump, Dragon Quest,
Dragon Quest 2. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's sad. Well, I don't want to end on a sad note. So, what can we? What do you got going on, Vance? What are you doing with yourself?
Mostly I am doing things that will advance my professional career in my free time. And then what is left of my free time these days is spent towards Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that's what I'm doing. I have very little Wheel of Time content in the works right now. I mean, we're between seasons anyway.
Yeah.
And I like to take the downtime when there's less interest to actually just focus on other things that I'm interested in. It's nice. And watching Avatar: The Last Airbender is always fun. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's one of the only semi-nerdy things that my wife, she's totally not a nerd, by the way, but it's like one of the only things I've gotten her to really enjoy with me.
Because it's amazing,
right? Yeah, it is. It is for everybody.
Like I give you side eye I think I said this before. Like I understand if you watch it and you're like, well, that's just not my thing. But if you say it is bad,
I'll be like,
we can't be friends. You know.
Right?
Are you a secret serial killer or something? Like,
I think even serial killers like it because Azula's in there. They have somebody to aspire to.
There's something for everybody.
There's something.
But yeah, so that's one of the things that we've been able to enjoy together. And so she liked that. Asking her to watch Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek episodes, that's a little bit more of a hard sell.
Understood.
Hey, Erin really liked Battlestar Galactica. Like, she ate that up when we.
Actually, I might need to. I'd have to buy them because I don't want to subscribe to a streaming service or wherever they're at these days. But I should have her watch that, maybe at least the mini series to see if she'd be interested, because it is a lot. It's a lot of drama in that one.
There you go.
In the 2003, 2004 one.
Yeah. And the female and honestly, the female characters in Battlestar are done very well. Like they're never regulated.
That's the key,
right?
Actually.
Yeah.
I think get somebody who's not into that, to get a woman who is not into that kind of stuff into that kind of stuff. I mean, part of the reason I read Wheel of Time is because I read the excerpt for New Spring and I was like, it seems like the women are in charge.
Right.
Let me look into this.
I remember when I was younger, and I started reading more voraciously. A teacher that I had, who I ascribed to all of this, because if she didn't encourage me to read, literally, when I was in school, like I would just read, and she let me read. Like it might have been, I don't know, wrong of her to let me cut class, go to her class, and sit in her class and literally read Wheel of Time, because that's what I did.
So you turned out fine. That's what you needed. Part of being a teacher is figuring out what the kid needs to make it through the day.
Yep. She did. That's fair. I mean, high school wasn't great. I mean, well, school wasn't great altogether, but
because it's not for everybody, but there's laws. But it's good that you had that refuge to go to, right? Because who knows what you would have been up to.
That's very true, especially in my time.
Right.
But the thing is that she taught me a lot about storytelling, like altogether. So like, learning like what the hero's journey was in storytelling, and then like going back and looking at all of the things that I had read or even TV shows and stuff, because it's in everything. And then realizing that like Moiraine's character is the character that like, Gandalf is, Obi-Wan Kenobi is in Star Wars, and like all men. there's not like, especially in fantasy, especially at that time, there wasn't a lot of female, like the quest giver, the teacher, the whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So it was. I remember talking to her about that a lot, and she enjoyed that. I got her to break her teacher facade a couple times when I showed her some of the names of the characters, because she would make fun of the names all the time. And I was like, "Here, do you think you could read this one?" And I showed her Elida's name, and before she could think of what she was saying, she was like, "Oh, fuck you!" And I was like, "You're gonna get me fired."
I mean, I feel like Elida's name is the only one where I'm like, you know what, this one doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Elida Rohan. That's her name.
I'm not even. She's just Elida. She can be like Madonna.
Speaking of, Crystal's, you're doing the audiobooks for the first time, right?
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. So I've never done any fiction book ever as an audiobook. So it's kind of appropriate that my first ever is The Wheel of Time. Yeah, I've always been kind of anti-audiobook. I feel like I should be actually reading it, but I love it. I've been messaging Tom. I feel like I'm like reading the books in a different way. I 100% cried like a baby today when Hopper died, because I started, like, it was gut-wrenching to me.
Well, so I am a big audiobook proponent. It has actually helped me pick reading back up because I just do not have the amount of time. So I like to time crunch and time compress a lot of activities into one. So listening is one easy way to do it. And I have ADHD, so I get distracted easily anyway. So big, long epics, which I love, don't get me wrong, love them. They are hard for me to finish in a timely manner because I get so distracted. And sound, for me especially, is one of my biggest distractors. So audio for me, that keeps my ears engaged while I'm doing something else, cleaning, dishes, you know, anything like that, where I don't have to have a lot of mental power to do the task, so I can listen and do those things. I'm a big proponent of it. And actually, you know, oral storytelling is the original format of story transmission.
Exactly.
And the narrators of The Wheel of Time, Kate and Michael, will tell you that if you ask. They are big proponents of audiobooks as well. It's an accessibility thing for a lot of folks. So I'm in, you know, big on the audiobook.
We're not gatekeepers in any way here on Dragon Mount, but I really particularly hate when people get on people about, like, you didn't read the. Yeah, they did.
I know.
I will
not
say,
only did they also get all the information from the book, but they know how to pronounce everything correctly.
Another
thing that we don't really
there's at least a standard pronunciation, right? At least a standard,
except for Mogedian. So
yeah, Mogadine.
So I will say Brian listened to Wheel of Time on audiobooks because he like falls asleep when he reads. So he listens to a lot of audiobooks all the time. And I do give him a hard time. I'm always like, you mean you listen to it? But I'm joking. But what I like about audiobooks is I think I get more submersed into the story, right? Because I'm not focusing on pronunciation or having to go back and like I didn't quite understand that, because I am more of, I used to think I was more of a visual learner, and I guess as I'm getting older and my eyesight's going, it's audio. Right? Like I retain it better, because like even with doing like schoolwork and things like that, if I can have it read to me, I retain it better than me just reading it, because absolutely there's another part of my mind going, I need to do groceries and I need to do this for work tomorrow. And what day is tomorrow? Like in the back of my head, because my brain is not fully engaged. Because I you know what I mean? Like I can have multiple thoughts. I don't know if that's normal or not, but I can have two conversations going in my head.
I can too.
It is for neurospicy people, yeah.
Yeah, no, I can absolutely be running down the chores list and having like a full-on conversation with somebody and like singing show tunes. It's very confusing in there. But if I'm listening to the audiobook, that will take all my attention, which means I can't do it when I'm doing other things. Because now I'm hyper focused on what I'm listening to, and whatever I was supposed to be doing, I've stopped.
Yeah, that happens to me too. Like if I'm working on something, like I tried putting audiobooks on like in the garage when I'm doing stuff, and it's either I end up noticing that I'm sitting there not doing anything, or I have like missed
it. Missed everything they said. Yeah.
But speaking of the who posted it? I think Noman Garden said it. Oh no, it was Arosa. Arosa said, yeah, so she did win another Audie. So this was something that I wanted to to bring up specifically. So yes, she won an Audie. It's well deserved in my opinion. I've listened to the first book. Her read.
I need to go back and do that.
Very good.
Listen to her reading the first book. But Arosa also posted that she doesn't retain audio as well as reading, but she's switching back and forth in the book. I've done that before, where I've been reading like the actual book, and for whatever reason, like if I find myself not being able to focus, I will go back and like switch in between the audiobook and the actual book. I
have a similar issue as Arosa. Like I've learned that I won't retain it as well if I don't do a read through first.
You have to see it too.
Yeah.
It's like a reinforcement.
The words also just makes them stay in there longer. Yeah.
I think it is just, it's really interesting. I don't think I'd do as well if it was something I didn't know. Like, that's why I started with Eye of the World, because I know it so well.
Yeah.
The part that struck me the most was how terrifying the scene was with Rand, and when he's running from the Trollocs at night with Tam. That was so much more intense than how I read that the first time through. Like, I was in bed in the dark by myself in that room and was like, oh dear God, like I need to turn a light on. I'm gonna turn the flashlight on my phone because it scared me, which I had never been truly like frightened by these books before. So I'm loving
that's another thing. Like, reading the books, you get your own interpretation of the scenes. Listening to them, it's like getting an entire different version of it, and it's a different experience. And I had the same kind of thing. I've listened to all of the books on audio at this point, with Michael and Kate going through them, and then Rosamund was not bad, but different, and it just evoked different feelings for me when I was doing it. And fun fact about it, so they have a director, obviously, for the audiobook. So someone usually with big ones like this is a big thing, and Rosamund's a big deal. But like the director of the audiobooks for this is her mom.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I didn't know that until someone brought it up in an episode in an interview, like a live interview that they had with her, that they heard that, and they were like, yeah, it's a great dynamic. We have a lot of fun. But yeah, no, it's cool.
I also have to say, just so we can get it straight, that I listened to them on CDs. Like, I had the actual audio. Like, there's so many of them. Many.
Okay. Gnome, I literally pulled out my phone and messaged Tom and was like, what? Yep. What is this? Gillidan? No.
Now I gotta, we have to. I have to.
This has been the hardest part for me, is some of the pronunciations are not what has been in my head for the last 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
That I will say that is the tough part when it is something you've read before, because then you're like, wait, what? That's not what? That's it? And then I will say, I think I pronounced the majority of the names correctly, but then I also would go and look them up in the back of the book.
Yeah.
And like almost all of them are phonetic. It's not like looking at Irish names. The first time I saw Siobhan, I was like, what is this? You are saying letters that are not in there.
It was on Saturday. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
It's funny. You and Noma Garden. Well, no, but Crystal's going to be at JordanCon this year, so if you're there, Noma Garden. I heard. I listened to Kevin Hearn, Iron Druid Chronicles, an audiobook, which was great, but all of the a ton of the characters in that have Irish names, but like Irish spelled names too. So like, it was. Like Shane is one of them, and like that is not how you spell that.
It makes me want to go and study like the creation, because why'd you do that? Why'd you make that letter sound like that? And either did we not go with what you had, or you were just like, forget that. This is what. Yeah, like what happened? And I know English is insane because it just takes what it wants. American English just takes what it wants from any other language, and then none of the rules make sense. Because why are read and read the same word, and how do I know how to pronounce it the right way without thinking about it?
Yep.
I don't understand. Why?
The context. Gotta have the context of how it's being used.
I know, but it's because it's my first language. it's innate, right? Like I know that. Like I know when to use a and an. But there's a rule.
English is also the worst language in the freaking world. Like if you talk to any person that English is not their first language, it's the rules are so weird.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it until trying to teach my first child how to read. And I'm sitting here trying to explain like why, like that she's asking legit questions.
Why is this letter silent? Why do we use it?
Right. And, or why is this not this? Why is this word pronounced like this and this word pronounced like this, but it's almost all the same letters?
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why we have 3 versions of there. They're just 3 versions of them and learn different. And that's when I discovered just how insane the English language was. I'm like, we're making babies learn this.
There's a really funny Finnish stand-up comedian that I follow on social media that he has a lot of bits that are about him learning English. And it was one of the words that he focused on a lot was shit. And it was like, so he's like, there's so many different meanings. It's either it means it's very good, it's very bad. Some people's things are shit. Some people's stuff is shit, which means bad. But sometimes you just say, this is my shit, and you mean your things. And it just, he has like this 7-minute bit on it, and it's really funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we go down the wrong tube, though, with the shit talk, I want to just reshare Vance's link tree one more time and encourage people to go and follow him over on the social media.
Yeah,
I'm sure most of the folks who tune in already follow me.
Probably. I mean, we have a lot of crossover here in the Wheel of Time content creator community, which is great. That's what I like.
So if you
I love our little family that we've built over the last, like, it's such a fun thing too, because it's like, you know, we've been doing that. Well, Ebony, I don't know when Crystal, you've been around for a while too, Crystal, in the Wheel of Time community before, you know, the show and like years and years and stuff. Like,
lurking in the shadows. I've been on Dragon Mount since pretty much the beginning. Yeah.
So like, you know, like there's like these two, like, it's like the older child and the younger child between the two communities. Like neither are better or worse. It's just very distinct, and the way that they've married together has been great. There's been a few knuckleheads that try to gatekeep, but screw those people.
All right. I will say, if you are already following Vance, then share his links with your friends.
There you go.
But we are coming up on my bid time.
Yes. So before we go, though, I do have to give our shout out for next week's guests. So next week we're going to be doing episodes 9 and 10 next week. Yeah. So we're a couple of weeks we're going to do one episode or two. You know, I think there's like 3 weeks where we're only doing one episode, and a couple of times it's because like 2 episodes of season 2 end up being 47 minutes long instead of the normal 23. So next week will be 2 episodes again, but the week after is only one. Anyway, next week we will be watching episodes 8 and 9, which is, again, I mean, I say it every week, some of my favorite episodes, but there's this is a really fun episode, is when we get to see Wan Chi Tong and his fun little location that he has. And our guests next week, because I've been getting more and more adventurous with just messaging random content creators who I like their stuff and asking them to appear. We have CJ Atlanson, who is a TikToker. If you look up that name on TikTok, you'll find him. He's pretty great. And then my child, who I don't think people know that they are my child, but Riss Harp. They're an actor, an artist. I got one of their pictures right there on my wall that they did for me. And I say my child because they did a first sister ceremony at JordanCon years ago, and I stood in as their mom. So they still send me Mother's Day, like a little message on Mother's Day, and like it's fun. But yeah, so we're gonna have 2 guests next week, and we're gonna have fun. So make sure to come and hang out with us then, and follow Vance, and we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Say goodnight, Crystal.
Good night, Crystal.